The condition I have, it's a permanent condition. It is called Madeline's deformity, and it's a deformity in my bones and in my arms. And it's a curvature in the wrist area where I've had reconstructive surgery. They've cut bone out of my wrist and graft bone from my hip into my wrist with metal plates. And it's something that's lifelong, and doctors have always said that it would be a permanent injury that ultimately the bones would need to be fused together. The medical treatment that I sought after the reconstructive surgeries was, once my son was born, I started having problems holding him. I couldn't pick him up from his crib at night when he was crying, or I couldn't hold a bottle. I couldn't help my daughter with a spoon to feed her. So I went to the doctor. They sent me to physical therapy. And there they told me from day one they probably wouldn't be able to do anything for me, but they would try to do whatever they could to at least relieve the pain. And I went there for 6 weeks before I met Debbie. When I met Debbie, I kind of explained to her, she told us what she had done, and I explained to her what my condition was, that I had this bone deformity. The doctor said the only thing I could do to fix it would be to have my bones fused together, and it just wasn't an option that I wanted at my age. And I wasn't able to work, wasn't able to hold my son still after 6 weeks of therapy. Nothing had changed, and she told me to give her a try and see if she could help fix it. She was convinced she could do it, and so I thought, well, I'd rather try her before I go and spend thousands of dollars on a surgery or spending time going to another doctor and after one. Within the first treatment, I got home and I was able to hold my son. I could pick him up from his crib just fine. I could hold his bottles, I could wash dishes, I could do housework, and I could actually start applying for jobs online and typing on the computer again, which I'd always done my whole life. So took one visit and that was it. And then over time, now I work 40 hours a week full-time at a desk typing every single day, active with my kids, and I try to see her at least once a month just to keep the bones aligned as my hand bones are actually collapsing into my wrist. So she's keeping them, giving me more time before I lose anything else. It's changed my life incredibly. I would actually, during the night when I was sleeping, I would actually wake up and my arm or my wrist would be, in a sense, dislocated, and I'd have to wake my husband up to have him move my arm to snap it back almost into place, and because I couldn't move it enough to get those bones to move just right. And I would do that every night. I also couldn't, like I said, I couldn't hold my son, so now I can hold him, I can play with him, and I was actually able to work, so now I can support my family and help out that way. I think the reason that she's so different from other therapists is she has a really good clinical understanding. She's, from my experience talking with her and the actual therapy, is that she understands what chiropractic can do, as she did chiropractic before as well. And so she knows all of the bones, the joints, the muscles, the lines, how everything leads. And she knows how the body really works, and she feels everything, where the other therapists, they stick to the machines, they stick to the regimen, what's supposed to be done, to the books, and she goes on feel, on touch, on sense, and there's just no way to describe it. It was instant help. I've told everybody at my office, anyone that ever complains of anything, a headache, a pain before they have a surgery. I have a guy at work that complained of spinal problems and they wanted to do surgery, and I said, don't do any surgery, call Debbie first, I'm sure she can fix it, because I was actually getting ready to go see a surgeon to discuss having my bones fused together, and I will never do it. I'll see her for the rest of my life if I have to.